What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and we're back with some more miniature unboxings from our friends over at Steamforged Games. This time, we're talking about the Epic Encounters Runes of Symbaroum set. There are two sets of miniatures here. We have the Gem in the Barrow, which is sort of the minion lower level encounter that leads up to the boss encounter, the Corrupted Coloss, which is right here. Now, again, you can run each one of these as standalone encounters, or you can kind of do where one rolls into the next, where you have the miniatures, the kind of minions, and then it rolls into the boss encounter. Now, this is from Runes of Symbaroum. If you're unfamiliar, there is... here it is. Symbaroum, which is a Free League published whole original system. It's very kind of grim, dark, and kind of spooky fantasy. There's also a 5e conversion, I guess, or taking the setting of Symbaroum and transferring it into the world of D&D 5e, and that is Ruins of Symbaroum, which is how you can have these epic encounter miniatures that follow the same kind of concept as general epic encounters miniatures, where they're going to have a bunch of minis as well as a pre-written adventure. Before we dive into the actual unboxing of the minis, though, I thought we would just take a look because these are not currently available for general purchase yet. So if we head on over to the Steamforged Games website, you can see right here we have Epic Encounters Runes of Symbaroum, the Gem in the Barrow here, which is $60. Again, you're going to know everything you're going to get. You can see kind of the quality of the miniatures in the renders here. We'll take a look at the ones in person. Set to launch February 18th of this year. So just a little over a month away for it to be purchased. And it kind of goes through what we're dealing with here as far as timing and number of players and so on. And then again, we have the Corrupted Coloss here, which is $49.99. Again, also set to launch on the 18th of February. So that is enough of us just kind of talking about what's in the box. Why don't we actually go ahead and take a look? So I'll go ahead and pop the top off of the Gem in the Barrow, and then again, we'll kind of walk through what you can expect to get inside. Now, I think I'll probably actually come back to my main cam because this will be easier to showcase this way. All Steamforged games come with a map. Now, this is not full, like, vinyl, but it is like a, I don't know what you'd actually call this material, but it is definitely water resistant at the very least. You can see we have sort of a encampment map on one side, and then again, kind of maybe previously or after the encampment here, just general outside kind of ruins area on the other side. So each Steamforged game box you're going to get is going to come with a double-sided map for you to use. They will also come with a full color encounter written up for you to run. So again, if you were to flip through this, it's going to talk about what's in the box. It has scaling mechanics in here for the different tiers of play, whether level 1 through 4, 5 through 10, or 10 plus. And talks about how to scale up the damage and things for the enemies. It has a variety of different factions that are applicable to the story, as well as hooks to kind of bring your adventurers in. And one thing that I really have always liked is they're really good on giving you tactical information. And by that, I mean how these monsters behave, how the creatures behave, what they'll do when they get into a fight. So then you have, at first, the Barrow, which was that one side of the map, and it'll kind of run you through that entire encounter. And then it says, welcome to the camp, which is the other side of the encounter. And then again, a series of different encounters and things to deal with as you travel through the area. Now, it'll reference a variety of things, but what you also get are stat blocks. You have, some of these are just more or less reprints of existing kind of SRD content. We have Goblin, but then we also have in here things like an Ill Goblin, which has some magical capabilities. We have an Elf of Spring, an Elf of Late Summer. We have Barbarian Warrior, Barbarian Champion, and Wolf are the stat blocks that we have inside here. So that's just a little bit of the background about how these kind of adventures work. Let's get into what you're all really here for, the miniatures themselves. They all come in a nice plastic clamshell that you could just easily lift the top off. They do have little kind of like insets in the corner, but no tape or anything to deal with. Also, no twist ties, which I know seems kind of like a minor nitpick, which it is, but it's a nitpick nonetheless. So, first up here, we have, assuming this is one of the elves, but if you, oops, sorry, let me just adjust my camera here to get a good look at these creatures. I mean, they have so much detail on them. You can see the wings on the owl, the sword on the back. Just epic level of detail. Can't get that a little bit better situated for you. There we go. Again, high quality of detail. We have, well, that looks like that might be just a generic. Let me see if it tells us who all we're getting inside this box. Okay. We're going to get 5 player characters. Oh, this is a standalone box set. I didn't realize that. My mistake. Well, normally, again, they're kind of an encounter for you to run. It says Epic Encounters is a product combining amazing miniatures, beautiful maps in this booklet. Symbaroum is the beautiful, strange, and deadly dark fantasy realm. This box set aims to take the best parts of both and create something amazing. Most Epic Encounter box sets contain one kind of classic fantasy enemy, like orcs, goblins, or gnolls, as you'd expect to find for a fantasy setting as complex and nuanced as Symbaroum. We're doing things a little bit differently. Well, here you have 5 player character miniatures ready to plunge into the darkness of Davokar, 4 elf warrior models and 1 elven leader, 4 goblins and 1 ill-goblin priest, and 4 barbarians and 1 barbarian champion. Okay, so we have 5 player characters. I'm going to assume maybe that is one of the player characters? Maybe a druid of some kind? Alright. The only thing I wish that they had is the names on the bottom kind of showcase. But this is giving very player character energy, right? I don't think he really fits into elf. And usually they're all similar. So I can see which ones are our goblins. And I can see which ones are our elves and which ones are our barbarians. So that actually may have been potentially a player character. So that was the one we just saw. This I do believe to be a player character as well. Here with his cute little basset hound pupper in the back here. Or maybe bloodhound. Another player character. Now this, I'm assuming, is our ill-goblin priest. Let's push this back more into the light and move our camera up a little bit more so you can get a little bit of a better look at our ill-goblin. One thing you can never complain about Steamforged games miniatures is just the high degree of quality on these. So I think that was our ill-goblin priest. This looks to be another player character, perhaps a wizard or a cleric, perhaps. Again, we have a holy symbol, but we also have a spell book, as well as this staff. All right. Then we have, see now this could be a variety of characters, really. This could be like barbarian champion. This could be player character with the pet wolf. Kind of hard to tell, but again, excellent detail all around on the miniature. This I believe to also be yet another player character here, sort of elf rangery or human ranger, giving me very kind of Aragornish vibes. Now, I'm assuming that this is the barbarian champion, although that could also work as a player character. Again, consider with all of these that while obviously they have a pre-written story kind of designed for this, you obviously could just buy this set for the high quality miniatures you're going to get, and if you want to go ahead and use them for player characters or what have you, you're more than welcome to do so. We have our standard goblins here, which look like this. Nothing too crazy. Dual axe wielding. We again have 4 of these. We have our elf warrior models. Again, very cool, very highly detailed. Love that. And then again, because I think that one was the barbarian champion, because this is what the barbarians look like. These guys are awesome. I really like what I'm seeing here with these barbarians. Oops. You usually don't see a lot of barbarians with shields, which is very cool. So doing a little more reading, it says, to use this set as intended, you'll need to make use of the Runes of Symbaroum Player's Handbook, alongside the rules for 5th edition of the world's greatest role-playing game. The Runes of Symbaroum Player's Handbook contains all the rules for corruption and its effects. If you prefer to use this as a more generic fantasy encounter, we recommend changing any special effects relating to corruption to the character or creature suffering double standard necrotic damage. If you prefer to use the original Symbaroum rules, you can download a free PDF from our website. And I think we actually saw that on the main website that does have a handful of, resources and things available, which I believe if we were to jump over to their website, that's not it. This is, you'll see this resources available. Let's go ahead and click. Oh, we can't click that. I was trying to click it. Our free resources section is full of downloadable PDFs. Okay, so that's where you would get it from their resources section. But they're exceptional quality, not a single kind of spur or, any kind of noticeable layer line or anything. Everything is exceptionally high quality. You know what you're going to get. You're getting a decent chunk of minis here as well, all for the price of $60. But you're also getting a map, which can be used again for more than just this adventure, as well as an encounter, and so much so in this one, not actually just an encounter. Usually, again, epic encounters are encounters, one that you run as part of a grander thing. This is actually a standalone box set that you can kind of run as a self-contained adventure. Again, designed for usage with Runes of Symbaroum, but you could use this with apparently regular Symbaroum if that's more your speed, or just straight up 5e, or other generic fantasy game of your choice. And that's actually really kind of nice. This, I think, we've said it before in some of our showdowns where we've done these kind of adventure, encounter in a box sort of a thing, that really you can't beat Steamforged games for bang for your buck. But you're getting a ton of minis. You're also getting multiple of the underlings, which is nice because, again, a lot of the times, especially if you're trying to build out your own miniature collection, you obviously want to get all the really cool, unique, epic monsters and dragons and all these really cool things. But when it comes down to it, 9 times out of 10 when you're running these RPGs, you might throw a singular dragon at a party member at one point, and that's very cool, and everybody will remember that. But 9 times out of 10, what you're going to be hunting around for are generic versions of kobolds, goblins, orcs, whatever the party might be facing. But usually you don't need one of those, you need a bunch. So the fact that this gives you 4 barbarians, 4 elves, 4 goblins means you're going to get a decent chunk of the underlings that you would have multiple of, as well as, a couple of the standalone sort of higher level characters, as well as this one giving you player character miniatures as well. I could see this concept being one of Steamforged Games' biggest sellers. Is not only is it the traditional encounter in a box, it's encounter in a box, but it's a standalone, self-contained encounter in a box. That being said, we're going to jump into the second set here, which is the Corrupted Coloss. This is the much larger miniature, which again, we'll have to see, because like I said, maybe I misspoke at the beginning. Typically, these are designed to roll one into another. We, again, as mentioned, do have our map, although this one is not double-sided. It is just purely black on the other side, which, I mean, maybe that's useful to do too. And then here you have the sort of encampment forest area, second part of the map. And then we have our little encounter here. Let's take a look at what it says. It's got scaling rules as per normal. So this one, not a standalone like the other one. This one is designed to be part of some other experience here. It's obviously got a bunch of plot hooks, as we've talked about, describing the various parts of the encounter. Okay, so Coloss encounter path, and it kind of walks you through the combat, right? So it says action type, multi-attack, wooden darts, tentacles, etc. And it will usually kind of give you an idea, again, tactically, how to run this creature. What's it going to do? What's it going to do first when it hits a certain threshold? What's its next step? And how are different ways in which it'll act in combat. And then you'll have different stat blocks for different tiers of that Coloss itself for you to use in the combat. So you not only you get the cool miniature, you also get a cool new stat block. And in the back here, it does have Elves of Spring, Goblins, and Barbarian Warriors, because they also come with knockout pawn tokens, as well as a specific gem token. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the mini cam so we can just kind of show these off. So you can see here we have the Barbarians and a token. We have the Elves there, and then I believe those are the Goblins as well, kind of maybe towards the top with the double axes or the single axe. So again, if you only have this Corrupted Coloss adventure, then you can just use all of the punch-out tokens that we were just talking about to cover the variety of different creatures that you would encounter. However, if you have the previous box, you don't actually have to use these punch-out tokens. You can just use those miniatures and transfer them over into this set, dealing with those extra ones in the encounter. And that's always something I've really appreciated, is if you buy sort of the whole set, the smaller encounter and the larger encounter, you don't have to use these pop-out flat pack kind of... These are just cardboard with like a layer of kind of like a slightly more water-resistant layer on top, but the back is just cardboard. You absolutely use these. Again, these are flat pack. These can easily fit anywhere to take in store rather than having to carry a whole bunch of miniatures. But if you don't want to use this because this breaks immersion or whatever for your players, you can obviously roll back into the other miniatures, or just use these for the ease of just being able to pop them out and go, especially if you're just going to try to input this into an ongoing campaign or something you already have, as opposed to trying to link the two together. All right, now let's get into what you've all been waiting for. The piece de resistance, the Corrupted Coloss. Now this thing is sick. All right, we're going to have to back ourselves up here a little bit. Take a look at this beauty. I mean, what more could you ask for? You need, obviously, you've got this Corrupted Coloss as a creature here, but you need an Ent, a Treant, a Plant Golem, you name it, Forest Elemental. This thing can serve a variety of different purposes, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at the detail. This is one of these things that often makes me upset that I don't have time to paint miniatures, because this would be an absolute beauty to be able to sit down and paint, and I would love to do that, but I just unfortunately do not have the time. But if you happen to have the time to paint these miniatures, you'll be able to make absolutely stunning designs on these. I absolutely love this guy. Plus, you can also, now that I'm kind of holding it here, you can get an idea of the scale of this thing. Let me go ahead and put it back on the mini cam, and I'll throw a medium size. We got a medium size kind of Whiz Kids miniature here. Just give you a little bit of scale of what we're dealing with. Sizable, substantial creature there for sure. So anyway, that was the Runes of Symbaroum set, both the gem in the barrow and the Corrupted Coloss from our friends over at Steamforged Games in conjunction, again, with our friends over at Free League Publishing for their awesome Symbaroum set. So, like I said, the bang for the buck and what you're able to get for these, you really can't be beat in the world of pre-painted, pre-printed, I guess, miniatures, unpainted. These are not going to be, sometimes I've bought, a variety of unpainted miniatures, and sometimes they're kind of like chalky, or, I don't know how to describe all of them, but this is, these are high quality miniatures. You might not even need to prime these. They look like they're ready to accept paint right out the box. I'd probably still prime them anyway, but as I said, they're available on February 18th. That is, at least that's when the pre-order is available until, so I imagine that they'll be shipping sometime after that. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I've done a handful of these Epic Encounter unboxings and reviews in the past, and I've never been disappointed with any of them. You really cannot beat Epic Encounters, and the Ruins of Symbaroum continues on that epic legacy that's already been built by Steamforged in their base Epic Encounters set. So, once again, a huge thank you to Steamforged Games as well as Free League Publishing, and let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I'll see you all next time.